Okay, so 2 and 3, how much heat flows in to melt the substance? What's the latent heat of fusion? What's the latent heat of vaporization, right? So remember that our formula for, if you're just looking, if you're on the test and you're like, oh, I don't know what to do, right? The formula is just M times L, right? Okay, M is already given to you. If you're trying to find L, all you have to find is Q. You just have to read it off the graph, but be careful, right? So it's all of these latent heats are going to be whatever the Q is times 0.012 and then L, right? Okay. So we can read off the mass, right? How much heat flows in to melt the substance? Well, here's where it's melting, right? So how much heat is that? If I go from here to here, it's, let's see, 150. Now, the common student mistake is to say that 200 joules flowed in. But let me convince you that that's not correct, because the first 50 joules didn't flow in to melt it. It just heated up the solid, okay? So this first 50 joules doesn't count. It's this that happens during that phase transition. That's what counts. That's what you want to look at, right? So for example, this guy here, this plateau is 250 joules wide. 600 joules didn't flow in to boil this off, right? Everything up until 350 joules was doing all of this, right? It's only the amount that it flowed in while it was vaporizing, okay? So this one's 150. This one is 250, right? So let's do our melting one, right? 150 joules flowed into 0.012 kilograms, right? And so our LF, our latent heat of fusion for melting, right, is just 150 divided by 0.012. So that's 12. That is, L is 12,500 joules per kilogram, right? Okay, now let's do the latent heat of vaporization. Notice that 250 joules flowed in, right? We started at 350, ended at 600. That's 250, right? So 250 flowed into 0.012. And so our L is equal to 250 divided by 0.012. And that is 20,833.3. And that's joules per kilogram, right? Now, not all those figures would be significant, right? All right. Yeah. Okay. I think we answered all the questions. Good enough.